Is this the greatest brand new driver's car on sale today? Well, strictly speaking, it's actually not on sale because the 2-year allocation for the GR86 sold out within 90 seconds. So in some ways, there's no point in me doing this review. But nevertheless, it's a 30 grand car, which is pleasantly analog, not ladled with power, but it's very in tune with what drivers apparently want. Let's investigate. I'm Jonny Smith. Welcome to the Late Break Show.
This video is proudly supported by blackcircles.com, the UK's largest online tyre retailer, providing a comprehensive click and fit service. You can put your registration number in on the website and get a whole selection of different types of grades of tyres suitable for your car. Everything from eco-specific tyres for electric cars or sporty tyres for cars like this Toyota, where grip is crucial. And with over 2,000 tyre fitting partners, Black Circles will have one conveniently located near you.
So this car carries on from where the GT86 left off, which had a really long production period actually, and that car was inspired by the Corolla AE86 from the 80s, front engine rear wheel drive. But this car originally was developed with Subaru. So Subaru brought out the BRZ, which is a rebadged version of the GT86. The GR86 sits on its own. Crucially, and I really like the GT86, but it was lacking two things. Majorly, I think, lacking in torque and power, but not control. It's a gruff sounding engine, this Boxer, which I kind of like and I don't like in equal measure. But what I really do like, I really like the communication of this car. It allows you to use all the power that it's got. It steers so well, and I've driven it a lot of miles. I've probably done about 600 or 700 miles before starting to review it for this channel, because I just wanted to get under the skin of it. The GT86 I liked a lot, but I didn't want to own one. This pushes everything, evolves everything that little bit further. It doesn't have the little flat 4 kind of badge on the front wings like the previous car did, but it does have an interesting digital display. Apparently there's even a buzzer, there we go. Even a buzzer when you get to 7,000 RPM rev limit, but I'm not going to explore that on these roads right now because it's a little bit slippery and foggy today. Crucially, 250 Newton meters of torque, so the torque is up. And it needed it, and it feels so much better as a result. You can order the GR86, obviously GR being Gazoo Racing, which is Toyota's kind of racing division. And the Supra is the GR Supra, and the Yaris is the GR Yaris. This sits within that family now. You can order it with an automatic gearbox, which means it's slower, which means it's more expensive, which means it kind of destroys the point of owning and driving a car like this. So unless you actually can't drive a manual, I would not bother. The other weird thing about the auto box option is that it comes with loads of safety, which the manual doesn't, like pre-collision stuff and lane assist and a number of others which I'll list on the screen. And yet you can't get that if you order it in a manual. But I like that, and I like that because when I'm driving it, it doesn't bing and bong at me. It doesn't try and communicate too much with me electronically. And that's one of the joys of the GR86. So it's classed as a 2+2, remember? So those little seats in the back, they can flip down. For occupants, I think they're a little bit token, although for little kiddies, it's got double ISOFIX back there. And when my kids were young enough, I used to take them in cars like this. They used to thoroughly enjoy it. I'll see if I can get in the back later. You might think, yeah, but these cars aren't practical, Johnny, at all. Well, are they? You'd think a coupe impractical. Oh no. 226 litres of boot space, which sounds rubbish, okay? And looks rubbish because it's just a coupe. But I've managed to get some stuff in here. It's like a TARDIS. Look, see? Practical. If you're staring at these brown chairs wondering what the hell they are. A, where have you been? And B, I'll put a link above my head of the people I've idle chatted to previously. Tyres. Now, the GT86 came with Michelin Primacy tyres, I think they were, eco tyres shared with the Prius. Apparently Toyota did this so the car would have a little bit of movement, slip and slide for entertainment purposes, and also be cheap to replace. This now has Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, so more grip. We're on 18-inch rims. You can get 17s if you order it in different markets, but not in the UK. So the car grips more now. I was a bit worried whether it would grip a bit too much for the power of the car. But it still feels like you can play. You've got a digital dash here, but again it delivers all the information quite simply. The 6-speed manual is really enjoyable. And it's comfortable. I've done a lot of motorway mileage in this. The economy is supposed to be about 32 mpg combined. I've been getting, and I'll just double check this, I'm going to say it's 36, 37 when I've been driving it carefully on a run, which is really good. Yeah, average 37.3. And that's over the last, I've got to say, it's probably over the last 500 miles or so. I'm impressed with that. It's got a Torsen limited slip diff as standard. In fact, there's not a great deal of options on the GR86, which reflects the simplicity of the car. Are we looking at an instant classic? Is the GR86 an instant classic? It's sold out instantly. Does that reflect, combined with the fact that Toyota have pretty much said in 2024 this car will be killed? So it's only going to live for a couple of years anyway. Does that instantly give it that badge of honour that it is the last of its kind? Rear wheel drive, front engine, naturally aspirated. This car has no turbos, it's just direct injection. And it's a smidge under 30,000 quid. So what does it rival? Well, its bigger brother, the GR Supra, now is available in a lower power, smaller engine output, 2 litre, 254 horsepower, I think. This is 231. What else does it rival? But that's 20 grand more, I think. Cayman is about £20,000 more, the entry-level Cayman. That's a flat 4 boxer, the entry-level Cayman. Alpine, fine car. If you haven't watched my Alpine review, I did do one of the S. I'll put a link above my head. The Alpine is a wonderful car, a lighter car because of its aluminium and composite construction, but it's more expensive, much more expensive. So this kind of car sits in this realm of like, well, MX-5. As great as MX-5s are in many ways, this car, to me, looks far better and is far more enjoyable to drive. It just, I don't know, it just has something extra. The engine has more about it. There's a little bit more control. Right, open roads, albeit foggy. Third gear, 3006. It's so much better than it was in the GT. I really am pleased that they've refined the recipe. Under the bonnet is another flat 4 boxer, developed in conjunction with Subaru. It even says it on it, the new D4S Toyota Subaru boxer. So this is now a 2.4. The previous car was a 2 litre, so it's up in power, up in torque. 231 horsepower, 250 newton meters, which is 184 pounds-feet, So maximum power at 7,000 RPM. The old car, the GT86, was 197 horses, 154 pounds-feet, and it's the torque, critically, which is what the previous car needed, I think. It's also quite cool to see an engine which is very honest and open. I think that transpires throughout the car. It's all very kind of honest, open, as is. You know, the materials inside, I was thinking about this. Some people criticised it for the materials feeling a bit cheap. The dash top, the suede, the rubberized plastic here, the suede little caps on the top here, everything to me feels really good. Whoever criticised it, I think they've not been in a, you know, a Volkswagen of the same money recently. I think this feels great. And it reminds me a bit of our old Jimny. The dials are big and they're quite analog and they're obvious. There's not lots of buried menus. It is a touchscreen infotainment system with Android, with Apple CarPlay, all that jazz, but it's not like annoyingly complicated. Hooray. While the road's quiet, I'll do a 0 to 62, which is 6.3. There we go, bleep to 7. That's 62. Do you know, that feels quicker than 6.3. On paper, it's slower than pretty much all of its rivals, but as I've said before, testing cars and enjoying cars, it's not actually about the numbers, it's about how it feels in the seat of your pants. How does it feel when you're in the seat, steering, driving, feeling? I'm still not convinced at certain RPMs I like the sound of the engine. But I was on Bluetooth talking to someone coming back from a job recently, and they said, "Are you in a supercar? I can hear this induction, and this engine roar." I said, "No, I'm in a 4-cylinder coupe, Toyota." It is a sports car though. Old school rocker switches for heated seats, and not only that, keeping this kind of fairly analog, old school simplicity. The car doesn't have sport mode. It doesn't have adaptable suspension. You have traction control off, big button, and then you have traction control kind of loosened up a bit for track use, which allows a little bit of movement, I believe. What Toyota has done, which is very impressive, is they've evolved the car, they've made it quicker, they've made it more enjoyable, but it's no lighter and it's got no more tech in it than before. Hooray! The cabin of the GR86 is lovely. Again, it's that simplicity which I think rules. Physical dials down here for your climate and stuff, and then you've got a start button by my left knee. 6-speed manual gearbox. You can buy it as an auto, please don't. There's no point. Unless you really value strange things like adaptive cruise control rather than normal old school cruise control, because you can't get it adaptive with a manual, but you can in the auto. Anyway, very odd. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, physical buttons here, touchscreen. There's not a lot of tech, but there's enough tech. And then move on to the steering wheel. It's a really ergonomic steering wheel. It's a beautiful raised boss here. Feels great, have to say, it feels great. Tiny gripe, perhaps, is this. I'd like the seat to drop down a little bit further, but it's a really comfortable seat. And hark, what's this? A manual handbrake. That's the thing about the GR86. It's pleasantly manual analog where it needs to be. Are we dealing with a car that's an instant legend? The GT86 rightly has a good following and a big tuning aftermarket, and I'm actually heading to visit a company that's kind of at the forefront of that with Toyotas now. But are we dealing with an instant legend? Do more cars need to be like this? Seriously, it feels so good on these roads. The way it's damped, you know this is a product of obsession. And Toyota are doing fantastic things right now. Look at the Prius. The latest Prius looks amazing. This company makes the GR Yaris, which point to point on a road like this today in these conditions would absolutely destroy the GR Yaris, the GR86 in terms of like quickness. But what about feel? What about feel? So the GR is classed as a 2+2. There are 2 seats back there, both with Isofix. I've got the seat set to how I drive it. There is no legroom. So unless you're an amputee or a dog, you won't be able to fit in there. I'm going to try and get in. I've never got in the back of an 86 before. Assuming a very small person can drive the car. My head is on the glass. So I'd say for little kids, you know, 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 3-year-olds, this could be fine. Other than that, not a fucking chance. You know, they've done an awful lot of good stuff in this car. Up to 60% more body rigidity without any extra weight adding. Revised steering mounts, just little things. Like I say, it's an evolution and it's a lot better for it. But I'm now driving into much straighter roads, flatter roads, because I'm heading over to see a company who have been doing Toyota-based tuning for the last 30 years or so. Well, I knew from back in my Revs and Max Power magazine days, and I'm hoping that they can have a look around the car and give me their second opinion, and they might have some tasty GT86 related things in the workshop. So let's go and have a look. Adrian.
Hi Johnny.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, we're here in Fensport, obviously in the Fens, and I wanted to bring you the car because you've tuned pretty much all the Toyotas that I can think of prior to this.
Yeah, well, firstly, a big welcome to Fensport. We've been tuning Toyotas since 1994.
That's what it is. I knew it was 90s.
Yeah, 32 years now, so one of our favourite cars obviously is the GT86s as well as the GRs now that we're very busy on, working on, you know. Yeah,
so I remember you from doing things, well, I saw the carcasses of the MR2s when I came in. MR2s, Celicas, you had a notorious GT4 for years, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Well, back in the 90s, we actually started the business on second-hand cars and braking for parts. Mainly through my old rallying contacts and rallying days, I had a big fascination with the AE86.
Yeah.
I've actually owned over 200 AE86s over my lifetime. Yes.
200?
Yes, I'm a little bit guilty because I did break quite a few. I've sold an awful lot to Ireland.
I was going to say, they're all in Ireland now, aren't they? They're all in Ireland.
I had a lot of Irish customers over the years. I've been doing this now 32 years, so you can imagine how many cars we've got through.
Yeah. And now we're at a point where, well, I can't see any GT86s. Have I turned up on the one day there's no GT86s?
Essentially, yes, you have, Johnny, yes, because we had 2 GT86s in here this morning. One's come in for a remap with a manifold, etc. That's already been done this morning.
Yeah.
And the second car was a turbo car that just came in just to collect a service pack, etc. So those customers have been gone today. Our GT86 race car has now been sold to a good friend of mine and is still competing in the Toyota Sprint and the Javelin Sprint series.
You need to see this car.
So
we'll put some pictures up of it.
This car's now up in York, so we couldn't get it here in time for you today, but you can have a look at it another day.
Well, don't worry, because this is fair compensation. No, it's not a GT86, but it is a hell of a GR Yaris. Is this your latest project?
Yeah, this car we started from a standard road car back in March 21. Was stripped out with, we did 800 or 900 miles to run it in, and then it was stripped out whilst the engine was warm.
Oh my God.
The engine was out and on the floor, and it's been right down to a body shell and then back up. Full FIA 2021 safety spec. More interesting parts as the 500 to 550 horsepower engine.
Show me. Did you say 550?
Yeah, hopefully.
Out of a 3-cylinder?
1600cc.
How the hell have you done that?
Mainly it's a stock bottom end. We run with Kelford valve springs, Kelford cams. We've changed all the combustion chamber design and shape inside, mainly because we've got rid of the direct injection. Run a Garrett G25 660 turbocharger, 2.6 bar of boost. And
Bloody hell.
A few prayers.
Right. I will have to come back and review this animal. This is phenomenal. I want to get your opinion on this, because you said to me when I phoned you, I've actually not seen one close up yet. I'm keen to see one. So if I show you around this one, I'll pop the bonnet on the GR, because you've lived and breathed GT86s way closer than I have. I drove one on the launch maybe a couple of times since then. Have a look and see what you think.
Yeah, no, I'd be interested to do that.
Because they've done a lot, they've evolved this. And the way the drive over here this morning when we've been filming, I think it's a huge improvement on the last car.
Hey.
I know.
It looks so familiar.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. It's very, very similar. Slight changes on the airbox and the air intake pipe. Straight away we can see that we've now got an oil water heat exchanger, which is a bigger help, because the earlier GT86s always suffered with high oil temps on the track as you're revving them high.
Yeah.
Obviously the 2.4 litre engine. You can't really see anything from this side, it's mainly internal differences. So yeah, it's all looking very, very similar. Our mechanics, our boys will be quite at home working on this.
They've all sold out.
I know, with 400 cars. I mean,
they've all gone already.
You know, who are you going to blame for that? Only 400 cars. You'd expected to have brought a couple of thousand cars for the first year. So 400 was a shock. It was a shock to us. The
customers that buy and modify GT86s, what sort of thing have you done to GT86? You ran off some amazing stats earlier. So how many cars you'd seen through the gates of Fensport, what you'd done, NA, turbo, this, that and the other?
Way, way, way more than anyone would ever expect. Over 200 turbo kits sold now. I think around 30 or 40 supercharger kits. On the mapping side, we've done closing in on 600 separate customers.
600?
Separate customers. Those customers could then be coming back. They start maybe with an NA tune, then perhaps a manifold, take the torque dip out, and then a couple of years later they're back again for a turbo kit or a supercharger kit.
Okay.
Even back for forged engines, turned into a race car. It can go on and on and on. There's some guys that we have actually mapped, their car maybe 10 or 12 times.
Okay,
so when you talk about 600 separate customers, that literally is separate cars and separate customers. Because when we keep a different file for each on our Google Drive. So
it's a cult car?
Absolutely, and it appeals to so many people.
So that's the engine. What do you think then of the rest of the design? Let's have a look around the rest of the car. I'll show you around.
I like it personally. I know there's been quite a lot of talk on the internet. Yeah. But I actually do think they had to do something different with the styling. Yeah. It's still a GT86. Everybody can see it's a GT86 straight away. Yeah. And
the front's a bit S2000 Honda, I thought.
Yeah.
Which is no bad thing.
Maybe. I think it's modernised it, but it's still kept.
Yeah.
But it genuinely is a GT86.
Yeah. Do you know what's weird is this is so good, it almost shows up the Supra.
It does.
And the cost point is massive.
And there's been quite a lot of talk about that on the internet. I've seen quite a few pictures of guys with Supras and the GR86 together. Now the dealers have now got them. Yeah. And quite a few people saying, I'll keep the extra 20 grand because I think the GR86 looks better.
Well, it's 20,000 quid. It's nearly the car again. Yeah. I was looking at the stats earlier.
Or it's a good turbo kit and a forged engine and a set of wheels.
Well, that's the thing, because for 54 grand, you get a 2-litre base model Supra.
Yes.
Which is only 254 horse.
Yes.
So you're kind of going, ooh.
And what's the weight difference? You know what the weight difference is?
It's 1,276 kilos, isn't it, this?
Yeah, so it's only about 10, 11 kilos up over the base early 2012 GT86.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it's 115 mil shorter than a Supra.
Right.
It's 690 mil narrower than a Supra, but it's 105 mil longer wheelbase. 105 mil longer wheelbase, which is a bit that surprised me.
That's a big difference. Yeah.
I'm glad I came to Fensport. I'll be back soon, rest assured.
You're welcome
anytime. And I'm sure next time I come back, you'll probably have bits of or one of these in here?
I should think so, yeah. There's lots of questions. Can this engine be used in the old
Of course. Put the
GT86?
2.4 in the old
Exactly,
GT.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah, that
right,
sort of
right.
thing, you know.
See, the last car, the GT86, I felt like it needed a more special engine and it definitely needed more power. This had the same sceptical nature when I approached it, thinking it's still a flat 4 Subaru engine. I don't know if that's going to work. I was wrong. It's a fantastic car, the GR86. That's why Adrian sat in it, combing through all of the functions, because he loves it. What Toyota does is it created a car that's probably more special than the flagship Supra. It's probably, for the buck, way better car than the Alpine and even a Cayman 718, because they're all so much more expensive. The biggest problem that car has is you can't actually get hold of it. Hopefully you'll be able to get hold of more of them soon, or are we looking at an instant classic right here? Hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Late Break Show. Thanks to Fensport for letting me call in. If you haven't already subscribed to the show, subscribe. Maybe you want to support us via Patreon, and for a couple of pounds a month, you will get early access to videos such as this one. Oh, and we also sell merch. I'll put a link for the merch shop in the description below. Thank you.